Riperire bakayina igama lami uSimphiwe Dludlu ngihamba ngedwa namhlanje ngihamba nensizwa la sithi navy and white because it's Soccerzone Xtra Monday. Sikhuluma yonke into ethi CAF Confederations Cup, Relegation Zone and anything that speaks football under the sun. Let me introduce him properly. Anifamba niriweshe namuhla nifamba na Muthanga loyi waka Manenje. Phumudzo.
Nukamba na Phumudzo Manenje koni libuwa koni takalelo ronota na rejoin hapo nika Soccerzone Xtra rukwamba nga zwinji na hasi rukwamba nga CAF hep Orlando Pirates yakono fezera ichikukundiwa ka final ya CAF Confederations Cup ridoseza relegation ndibonye botu wawo ndibonye bono bakozula ndibapiyo batambi bone bato survive kabaroka basala bachikotamba ka PSL kezo coach
ndikhoriwa ngamanda. They always say when you speak to a person to understand, you speak in their mother tongue. Tini mother tongue yet is football. I hope you're at home, you're going to enjoy everything that we are going to unpack today because Phumudzo, Orlando Pirates, we've seen them play as hard as they could as a team, different formations, different types of players that they brought in, the two coaches that are there, the technical staff. Wonke umuntu laphaya wanted to add something to that cabinet, the Orlando Pirates, and they were this close.
But now, the other thing that we need to say is Orlando Pirates were last in CAF final in 2013, Champions League 2015, CAF Confederations Cup. But their opponents in 2018-2019, they lost via penalties to Zamalek. 2019-2020, they won against Pyramids from Egypt. That's when they were last in the final. So when you're looking at the two teams, Bekani were the latest team to have won a CAF Confederations Cup. But Orlando Pirates had good chances, coach, to win the game in the 90 minutes.
They were prepared because you could see with the build-up of them coming into this final here, Lodge is the one that receives the ball and goes forward to give Hoto a magnificent pass. He plays it away from the defender. All Hoto needed to do was to be composed. There, that moment, as soon as he changes his body positioning to say, let me kick with my left, he lost it there because he needed to offset and take the goalkeeper under pressure, off guard, because the goalkeeper knew he's left-footed, he's going to come. He closed the one side where he was supposed to take a shot. He should have gone with his right more than anything.
If Orlando Pirates wanted a player 1v1 with the goalkeeper, they wanted Hoto. Because Hoto has played 40 games for Orlando Pirates, 7 goals he has scored, 10 assists. That was the best man to be in that position. A great pass by Udlamini. Hoto, why are you going for the in-step technique, coach? Lace will give you more power. He went for the instep. He could not generate enough power. And a great save that was made by Akibi in goals.
You are perfectly right because he could have went with a chip as well. Power, precision is what's important. And I think the chances that will keep on unfolding for you for Orlando Pirates, the reason why they struggled to score these goals, it's because when you look at their decision-making, because you look at this moment here, it's a half chance for Ushandu, and this is where you see a player going top corner because there's so many bodies in front of him where he couldn't easily take a shot. Goalkeeper was well positioned, enough bodies in front of him to obscure his view. Well, all he needed to do, look for top corner, just go, you know, to the top where the goalkeeper won't be able to get there, even if Ubenga fly.
Shandu is a defender, but 7 goals in all competition for Orlando Pirates. He scored 4 in the Confederations Cup. So it was a great chance for him. He goes on the ground, coach, because there's a lot of bodies in front of him. He's thinking there can be a deflection, there can be anything that happens before the ball gets to Akibi. But he parries the ball. But the other thing is, where is Hoto? Where is Pepra? For the second ball that is dropping in front of the goalkeeper, alertness, awareness, the hunger, the determination to go for the second ball was not there.
And with all of those points you are mentioning being absent, again, it takes us to this moment where now Hoto again is the main man. All of it is building up to him to be the hero in this moment. It comes to his favorite foot, his left foot, but he still gets a touch. And in him getting a touch, he allows the goalkeeper to set himself up. He allows the defender to obscure him. And this could have been a goal for Orlando Pirates that was going to bring in an avalanche of more goals because the opportunities that Orlando Pirates created here. Look at him. He's sitting, he's watching the line, he's looking where's the defender, he's looking where's the goalkeeper. All he does, he chests it correctly down to his left foot. All he needed to do there. Now shy something, they just go full in laces again. I love the laces because laces always give you power, but there he was denied time and space on the ball, you go quicker so that you don't allow the defender to settle, you don't allow the goalkeeper to settle. And a lot of these opportunities have been coming on his lap because he's been improving, getting better and better. And it also takes us to other moments where we see him, either he's in line, he's on the way, he's not allowing players to take a straight shot, a clear shot. For me, Pomozo, do you think Orlando Pirates did enough to secure that trophy to come back to South Africa?
When we're looking at the last Hoto moment, you're thinking he has chested the ball. He's in front of the defender. He's at an advantage. Look for the penalty. Look for the foul. Don't be rushed, because when he takes that second touch, he takes away space and time from himself. By the time he has the shot, he's under pressure. Why not look for the penalty? You are a smart player. You are an intelligent player in the box. You can see the chances going away from you. Look for the penalty. Look for the touch. When he goes for that opportunity, he's falling back. He now hits it against the goalkeeper. And when he missed those two good chances, Otto, I saw his head drop a little bit because he was no more getting into those good positions. And the reason he was getting into those good positions, coach, was his movement of the ball, his positioning, his awareness of where his teammates are moving, and him going into the opposite direction. Making the run on the shoulder of the last defender is what we saw from Dion Otto there.
And this is a guy who's got the speed, the power, he's got the vision, he's got it all. But for you to be the greatest player anyway, you need to be able to say, when I'm in the pit, do I find a way to climb out? Do I find a way to throw the rope out? Or do I just jump out? And jumping out might not be a exact option that you want. And it's for him to now sit back and say, how can I improve in how I execute under pressure? Because at the highest level, we want to see how many quality actions you do, how long you do those quality actions, and do you profit? In profiting, do you create, do you assist, or do you even score a goal? Because you look at this moment here, the opposition are able to dispossess Orlando Pirates. Immediately, they play the first pass forward, take a shot. Here again, Orlando Pirates was lucky with even with Ofori spilling, there was a defender there to clear with height and distance, because this could have changed things early on before going into that halftime break.
We did warn Orlando Pirates to say when they were out of position, they needed to look out for Youssef Al-Fali. He's dangerous, jersey number 7. Jersey number 21, Al-Hilal. He was also in midfield, wearing the captain's armbelt. I spoke about the final that they'd been to. The last final that they were there is 7 surviving members. Dayo, the centre-back, Mukaneb at the back, the centre-back. And they had 7 players that were surviving from the previous final that they lost, from the previous final that they won. So the experience, you could see the experience to say, they can't match Orlando Pirates in terms of skill. They can't match Orlando Pirates in terms of agility and movement. So they really broke the tempo of the game as much as possible. And during extra time, or just before extra time, Orlando Pirates makes a change. They take out Ben Moswari, who had worked his socks off. He gave everything for Orlando Pirates. They took him out. They brought in a Thabang Munari. But a Thabang Munari that had not played at Orlando Pirates in the past 3 games, coach.
And in him not playing, he's coming out, he's still not 100% warm. Your defender is set piece. This team is lethal also when it comes to set pieces. Where he's standing, he could have done better, but because his body, his brain has still not registered hot enough for a game that is in its 94th minute. Because if you look at it, he doesn't even still see anything wrong with what he's done, because he's lunging in there. If he would have went with the head where the ball drops, that could have been better and easier for him. Then it speaks to how Orlando Pirates was defending that set piece as well. They had all the bodies in there, but were they picking up correctly? Were they looking to clear the ball with height and distance? Unfortunately.
Calmly slotted in by Al-Hilali in that moment. He gets the goal. But what is key is, what was the referee looking at when he went to VAR? Did Thabang Munari touch the ball? The answer is no. Does Thabang Munari touch the opponent? The answer is yes. Did the opponent touch the ball? The answer is yes. So therefore, Thabang Munari causes a foul in that time. And South Africans, Mabakania, my heart is also sore. But it was a correct call to give a penalty.
Correct call indeed. And you think about how Orlando Pirates has built their character into coming into this final specifically. And this man here, Thembinkosi Loch, he's been making sure that there's fluidity in that midfield. There's flair in that midfield. Any flair is not him holding on to the ball, dribbling too much. No, he finds those pockets where he can play the passes. Here he was passing. He was not scoring, but if you don't shoot, you're not going to be able to score. Ufuna kanjani ukuwina ilotto if ungabheji? And that is what Thembinkosi Lorch did. He was playing a pass forward, trying to locate a striker. And unfortunate for the opposition, which they thought it was a pass, somebody will intercept, and it went straight there. So accurate pass for him into the net. And this takes us, Phumuzo, to moments where we always say, as a player, as a midfielder, when you are going forward into the final third, scoring is not just striking the ball, it's passing the net. Which power, how much speed, angles, and where you go. It's important for you to be able to understand and realize, la shoot, and where do you pick? Because on a normal day, a goalkeeper would have went for that. But because it was just an accurate pass with firmness also.
Coach, but what is critical in that Lorch moment is that Lorch has got 3 defenders around him. The composure, the calmness. He knows he's an experienced player, former footballer of the season, has been to a Nations Cup with Bafana Bafana. He knows that he's in control. And the defenders are not going to commit and try and touch him because he's in the box. They also know that any touch in the box, Lorch is going to go down. He composes himself, and all he does is he's trying to find a pass for a 1-2. But with that pass, is what we always say, stealing a man's passing net. Ndizwe Lorch aita zvona. Okono digeta boxini, akono sezor goalkeeper guy, asezor teammate yawe guy, aijia ngangoma mlenje, in-step technique, coach. He passes the ball in the back of the net. He was the hero at that moment, coach.
A lot of South Africans are looking at him and saying he did poorly. What is poorly? Missing a penalty is not him performing poorly as a player, because we went to penalties, and we as Orlando Pirates in South Africa, we went to penalties because of him. They're unfortunate for him, he had only one option. The Engela Mengayo, he can only swing to his left, and unfortunate also for the goalkeeper. Unfortunate for Lorch, fortunate for the goalkeeper. He guessed the right way and he went all out. Because on a different day, he could have decided to go on the left of the goalkeeper, even Engela Mengai, and would have scored. This, Phumuzo, makes me ask you a question, Guti. Is Orlando Pirates always struggling when it comes to cup games and penalties?
The answer would be, the last time Thembinkosi Lorch missed a penalty was in the TKO final against Baroka. He missed a penalty in that season. But what happened after when Lorch missed that penalty? He went on to be footballer of the season in the very same season where he missed the penalty in the TKO. So it shows that he did not look down on himself after missing that penalty. It actually pushed him to work extra harder for Orlando Pirates. And that's what Thembinkosi Lorch did. Even now, boy, I know that you're going to be watching the show. One thing I'm going to tell you, you missed a penalty against Baroka, you went on to be footballer of the season. You have missed a penalty now in the final of the Confed. You are called back into Bafana Bafana. The only way you can redeem yourself is go give a good performance at Bafana Bafana, go give a good performance in the last 3 games for Orlando Pirates, and head up, boy. Orlando Pirates has struggled because you look at the Nedbank Cup against Marumo Gallants, who are in the final now. Orlando Pirates lost via penalties. Against Simba in the quarterfinals, Pirates won by penalties. But there was no one who wanted to go take the 5th penalty. Eventually, when Ofori picked up his hand and said, Nongzetata lays 5. So penalties has not really been working out for Orlando Pirates.
Yeah, we've seen them also in moments where... Now, this is, I beg your pardon, this is a great penalty decider. And unfortunately, a penalty is a gamble, you know. Who's on song on the day, who's picking the right spot, how is the goalkeeper, how has the goalkeeper been? Because these stats tell you that Orlando Pirates had all things going right for them, because look at the shots on target for Orlando Pirates, 6. If 3 of those were converted, they would have won that game. Look at the shots created, 12. And most importantly for me, Phumuzo, if we are looking at the corners for Orlando Pirates, they got 7. They got punished by 1 corner of the opposition out of the 2. They got 7 and could not capitalize from the 7. Set pieces, if you can't win it in open play, set pieces needs to be one place where you find solitude and say, can I convert from those?
There's a legend at the SABC, may his soul continue to rest in peace. That is Tabo Manyapile. He says, football, I'm not there for. And by me saying that, I want to say that the team that lifted the trophy only had 2 shots on target. The team that lifted the trophy only had 2 corners, won a penalty from one of those corners. Football, are not there for. Orlando Pirates, unlucky. Now it's an opportunity for Orlando Pirates. 3 games to go. The maximum they can get to is 49 points. 49 points, it means that they have to win all their remaining games if they want to go back to Confederations Cup.
And in the 49 points, they need to make sure they score more goals, because Cape Town City right now is sitting on 49. Royal AM can get to 49 points as well. And while we are at that, it means they also need to make sure they go back there to do the second time around proper, better, to win it, and make sure they have a women's team.
Le game Royal AM, they've got one more game. It's against Orlando Pirates.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I know, Mama, it's in their own hands.
We come back now, we look at PSL. Teams have been relegated. A team has been relegated, which is Ibaroka, and Swallows basurvive kahle because 25-26 is 1 point margin. And Ibaroka Pumuzo, if you think about it, in the past 5 seasons, Ibaroka has been good playoff spot or has been good number 14 uya phansi. 2018-2019 they ended number 14. In 2019-20 they ended number 14. In 2020-21 they ended number 10. This season they ending up number 16, bar relegated. And while we are talking about that, the teams that they've been featuring down there with have been Black Leopards, Polokwane City, Free State Stars, Lauma team wonke agu Glad Africa. So shuguti nabo bebangaziboni ukuthi yazini in the past 5 seasons, let's change something. Finally, it caught up with them.
When I look at the graphic, GA becomes very important. That is goal against. Baroka conceded 40 goals. That is the worst defense in the whole league. When you're looking for GF, it's goals 4. Baroka only managed to score 22 goals. It means that they were the 3rd worst scorers in the league. So I'm not surprised that they are relegated. But let's look at the highlights. They were playing a game of their life. When you are playing game of your life, coach, I expect Baroka to create opportunities. I expected Baroka to defend better. I expected Baroka at least to bow out with pride. Bowing out with pride would be going out with a win. But unfortunately, it was not to happen. As you look at this opportunity that Macheke has and Ngubani clears off the line, coach.
In clearing off the line, because they were defending in 6s and 7s, because and in 6s and 7s you will think they have enough numbers, but actually they were not compact enough. They were not following players off the ball. And Deo Jackson also was lucky. He did not pull Macheke down to get to cause a penalty. And also Macheke, at that moment where he went with the instep instead of going, if he would have gone with the laces, he would have easily scored there. And this is not the only chance we are talking about. Maritzburg United, because also Maritzburg United wanted to make sure they finish in a better position. Again here, they look like they have enough numbers in the box, because you can see 1v1s, 2v1s, they block the ball, but the clearance is not superb because they're just kicking anything and everything. Again here, Pomozo, they were just lucky not to concede there.
It's in the first 30 minutes of the game. Baroka has had to clear the ball off the line twice. In this time, Zuma goes for the first shot, they save it. It goes to Samu, again is cleared off the line. So this is a Baroka team that is fighting for their life. But I don't see it in the way they were playing. I don't see it in the way that they were defending. Because already 30 minutes, 2 good chances goes to Maritzburg United. And then Keegan Ritchie gets an opportunity to get a free kick. Again, it's Macheke. It comes off the upright. Is that worst defense that I was talking about? Is that 40 goals conceded? Fortunate they were saved by the crossbar in this instance.
I am starting to ask myself, Uguti, Ibaroka, they have a problem in scoring. They have a problem in blocking.
Yeah.
Does it mean in midfield Diabo is not doing well enough to make sure they keep possession? In midfield Diabo does not do enough to make sure the defenders are not exposed? Or holistically as a team, each player, each individual, they are not aware of their roles in the game to win a match, to defend a match, and to make sure there's so much stability in the team. And it's not just on the field. Off the field, we know they've seen those problems. Unfortunate for them, now they have to find themselves in the Glad Africa having to fight again down there, where there's so many teams that have been showing glimpses they want to come back into the Premier League. It's going to be hard for them down there.
But the only good chance or the best chance of the game for Baroka was the one that went to Ngubani. The left back took responsibility into his own hands. A clearance here by Lukube and it goes to Ngubani. He looks up in the box. He does not see a lot of option. He decides to go through that ball with the less technique. That is the left back. One of those that I think has got a lot of potential. You know, in South Africa, we don't have a lot of left backs. We don't have a lot of players that are have educated left foot that are defensive. Because when you look at Ngubani, he can play as a left back. He can also play as a left centre back.
Yeah. And Pomozo, he takes a shot, it comes back. Only one player is in there against 4 or 5 defenders of Maritzburg United. And finally, in Maritzburg, you could see Guti, they were making sure Guti, they create those opportunities. They kept on getting the ball, playing off the ball. And this is where they'll also punish you with set pieces. Keegan Ritchie brings a quality cross in there. None of the Baroka players are picking up. When they push up, they are pushing up.
Coach, they deal with the first phase of defense, and after that they switch off. Because look at Clayton Daniels when he's attacking that ball. There is no green shirt that is fighting against Clayton Daniels.
Could the goalkeeper have done better there as well?
Goalkeeper, there is like 4 green shirts in front of him that are marking no one.
So better for him is him communicating and screaming to say, pick up. It means all of them are watching the ball. They're not looking at the player in front of them. Because him doing well, if he goes in there, he's going to bump into his own player or even cause something else. But he stands a chance of correcting the situation by saying, pick up, look at the ball, look at the player also. So Shuguti, maybe
there's a word called open stance. Open stance. Open stance, you need to see the ball, you need to see the opponent. And what Baroka defense was doing in that moment, they were only looking at the ball and they did not see the opponent, who's Clayton Daniels, who made a late run into the box. He's onside, the goalkeeper does not come off his line. Lack of communication, and that's how Baroka goes down.
We know Uguti Baroka is gone. And somebody has a survival chance.
Kubaroka. Which I think Evidence Mahoba is not going to go to Glade Africa. There's too much talent. From the Olympics, he's part of Bafana. Evidence Mahoba is not going down. Ngubani, for me, is one of those players that I think has got potential. Is there any other player, Kubaroka, or Ibona Yuguti, Alo?
I think Denwin Farmer is also one of those players. We've seen him also in the Olympics, in the Bafana squad, and he's one of those young centre-backs that are upcoming. I think those are just a few players that we've seen at Baroka that could, you know, make a way back into the PSL and make sure Guti they go stay there. While we are talking about staying in the PSL, Iswalos has been given a lifeline, a bit of a lifeline.
They are former player. It's a short corner.
Yeah.
Epi Mashian plays the ball to force. He brings it back. Look at Ngobo, miss the ball at the highest point. Reigning defender of the season, Ngobo. Why was he reigning defender of the season? He defends well. He's very important in offensive set plays. He missed the ball at the highest point. Gives no chance to February that is trying to get to that ball. He scores against his former team. He doesn't celebrate. He says, I'm feeling sorry.
I think in this moment, you can see Utu Athazwan is not just saying, let's just wrap up. He's still putting attention to the details. And talking about details, when you're a midfielder, you want to make sure Utu, you keep it stable. When the defenders go out, you are there covering those spaces. And Unange is one of those players that is able to do that in that midfield, Kaizer Chiefs, because you can see here, defenders are beaten for pace, and the goalkeeper comes out and he says, let me just go and do an honorable thing. Unfortunate for him. The only hand of God is marathon.
Ay bako zipa bo nange man. Varne nde hedanga tho ela bola. Nange arnde hedanga tho. Rude bona zwabu dinga slow marna the camera hote. Nisko ibone ne la bola. Nange angu hedanga angu irwanga tho. Look at it again. Nange says I used the head. Now look at that. The arm is outstretched. He's making his body unnaturally bigger. It's a handball.
Could he have gone with his head?
He could have gone with the diving error, but here's the critical part. Now, before that moment, we're going to pause it. Why is... Now, the question, if we take it slightly back, the question is, why is Blom giving the ref a pat at the back? Blom is saying, the ref says, no, it's a drop ball. Blom a pat. Well done, ref. We won a goal.
And he dropped ball ganjan because the first glance of it and the referee pointed emlotin, what's a penalty. And this moment here, those earpieces we know what is for them to communicate with each other to say, did you see a red card? Did you see an offside? Did you see that?
I know
because
you can read the lips
consult.
very well, coach. What is happening there? What in?
Ngibona ngathi drop ball, ngathi uthi
What? Drop ball. Now, yes, the other important thing, just to educate our viewers. If it's a penalty, the assistant ref will not be standing on the
sideline.
He's standing on the sideline because they had agreed when they had a conversation earlier to say it's a drop ball. They were not sure if it did touch Patricia Zonange's hand or did it touch the head. But they end up making the correct decision. But the question is, the person whispering in their ear, how did they see that if the assistant ref and the ref who are closest to the action could not see it? Why? If photo officially won kanjani?
Pomozo, I'm just asking myself, if the referee at first glance, he said penalty, what made him change to say it's a drop ball, maybe
you want to discuss it with his assistant ref. And assistant ref atangibona.
So now they go to the fourth official.
No, now they agree with nami bangekho sure. Then I send it drop ball. Then the fourth official, which was correct from the fourth official. But we bone kanjani.
Maybe bekafaka ama-fair cake.
Ama-fair cake.
Yeah, bekafaka ama-fair cake kazumile. Tingbona ukuthi kwenzakaleni. And khuluma ngama-fair cake, I think both teams wanted to put pressure on each other because we saw not just one penalty.
But before we move there, because there were a lot of people that were asking me on social media to say, is it not double punishment if Nange Chiefs concede a penalty and Nange is given a red card? It's not double punishment because Nange is not using a playing limb. Nange is using his hand, and hands are not allowed on the field of play.
Unless you're a goalkeeper.
Unless you're a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So Nange uses his hand. He had no intention to use his playing limb or the head. So therefore, it was the correct call for him to get a red card because he had no intention to play the ball. He used his hands. That's why Doxo will allow double punishment. That's why he got a red card and Chiefs got considered a penalty.
Aha, mfana kithi next league game nje when uyoqala nge-red card. The next penalty that we see, fortunate enough, it doesn't afford anybody a red card, but this is incredible play from Iswalows. Look at the time. It's 1-1. They're still pushing as hard as they can. This is also another team that was playing for their lives to say, we don't want to be relegated. We at least want to make sure we get 3 points. Quality cross coming in, and defenders were so much under pressure. Again, Musonda here, he's a big man. And he says, let me just use my body. Let me use everything I have to make sure I get something there. Get a shot at goal. In this case, he got a penalty.
The rules say, is Ngobo's hand in a natural position or unnatural position? In this instance, the referee says he's in an unnatural position because he's making his body unnaturally bigger with his hand that is outstretched. Does the ball touch his hand? The answer is yes, the ball does touch his hand, which is not in a natural position. And I feel that it was a correct call by the ref, pointing to the penalty spot and saying it's a penalty. But the penalty still had to be scored, coach.
It still had to be scored. And I think this young man has really shown character as well in saying, as a fullback, he comes, he plays. You can see him going forward, defending his roles. He does that as well. And that penalty in such a match against Kaizer Chiefs, knowing it's a match of your lives as a team, and it's a penalty. He needed to make sure that he gets the right technique, the right confidence. Because the technique, unless you are really confident to say, I can take Ovuma on and make sure I capitalize from this penalty.
Now, the Swallows game just had a lot of referees' decisions because now we're going to go to the Bennett Parker moment. Now, Bennett Parker is brought down in this instance. And when Parker is brought down, he wins a free kick for his team inside the D-line. Now, you know that opposition players, the defending players and the attacking players, they are no more allowed to mix in the wall, coach. Now it's no more allowed for the Swallows and Chiefs players to mix in the wall. It's no more allowed. So the key...
Just so that we make that clear bit, if there's more than 3 players on the wall, you are not allowed to get close.
Yes.
If there's 2 players, you can stand with the wall. Once there's 3 players or more, you must move a meter away from the wall. Hence, Kaizer Chiefs moved a meter, maybe and more, away from the wall. That's why this moment that's coming up next is important for us to talk about, Pumo.
It's important for us to go back to that moment because what we want to highlight is the Kaizer Chiefs wall. The Kaizer Chiefs wall is standing behind the Swallows wall. And what is important is that the ball deflects off Ngobo, who is in an offside position. So Swallows could have been automatically relegated by this goal because this moves Swallows from 3 points to 1 point. And now, what is important, the free kick, yes, we agree it's a free kick, but when the free kick is taken, we're going to show it with the side angle when the ball is coming from an offside angle, so that we'll be able to see where the wall is. And we're going to pause it and show you that the ball does deflect off Ngobo, who is a Kaizer Chiefs player, and pause it there. Now, if you're pausing it there, there's a player lying, a Mahaman, is lying behind that Swallows wall. Now, there is 3 Chiefs players there. Kambola is moving away. There's also Ngobo. Now, if you roll it slowly, slowly again, and you're going to pause it when it touches Ngobo. Now, pause it there. Now, that ball does not directly go into goal, coach. It deflects off Ngobo. Now, is Ngobo disturbing the vision of the goalkeeper in terms of seeing the ball? The answer is yes, because he's standing in front of the goalkeeper's view. Does the ball deflect off Ngobo? The answer is yes, it deflects off Ngobo, and it changes direction. The last touch comes off Ngobo, it goes in the back of the net, but Ngobo is standing in an offside position. That goal should have not stood.
It should have not stood up. Also, I'm looking at just minor details of this. Nobody is flying. Lea wall, Leana, it's sitting there. I think Letlabika should have, you want a flyer to fly, obscure Vision Yaga Parker, who's kicking. Also, the player next to Ulitlabika, he's also going down first to jump. If there you don't jump, on the wall you don't jump, you stand as tall as... so that you just add a bit more height, so that you just block him. Because Lali Dipakona Lilapo, it could have hit someone's head. It could have also hit Ulitlabika if he was flying also to make sure it doesn't make it. But anyway, it was a well-taken
Before we move to TS Galaxy, just educate the viewers. What is a flyer and flying in a wall?
So what we mean by that is that go wall utolag nama player kanje, and then there's that player that's there. This player is a flyer, is the one that will fly and go forward to obscure the kicker or the free kick taker, so that they don't have clear vision to go. Now, for this person not to be offside, they just need to take half a step away so that when they go forward, when the ball is kicked, they are not going too early, because you go too early, the referee can also give you a yellow card. So Lea Flyer Leana is that one person that makes it difficult. That's why sometimes Lea distance, Mabal Shire, if fly yalplo.
Patrick Totet akazi nokuthi flyer yini, umncedile coach, educateile sekazi ukuthi flyer yini. So ile player elingami ebondeni elime sidini malithinta ibhola liliyaya le player.
Ne?
That is the flyer.
Sisakhuluma ngama flyer, there's a team that made sure ukuthi they fly high. In the past 3-4 games, they've been making sure they are playing with heart, with grit, with character, and that is the TS Galaxy.
Yeah.
I think coming into this match against the Chipa, they needed to make sure they don't find themselves drawn into the playoff spot, because they needed maximum point. If not, eat raw, or maybe bebange settler for yona, but they did not want to see themselves getting to that moment. That's why they played the whole 90 minutes and left everything on the field with that last match.
Yeah, they left everything on the field, because you're looking at the veteran Mbata. He plays the ball, good interplay with Abbas. He gets the ball back, has a shot at goal. Unlucky not to get it on target, Mbata. But what I love about this move is movement of the ball. Abbas is a defensive midfielder. When you're looking at Mbata, he's a winger. That back heel, he continues. They've got 3-4 players around him, but he still has the hang and the determination to have the shot. Unlucky not to hit target in that moment, Mbata.
Hanap is also another defender, a modern day fullback, because look at him blistering forward, and he's been creating goals for Ichipa. He's been scoring in those angles as well. They're just unfortunate for him that he was taking a shot, he was not crossing, and that's what you want. You want it to go as hard as you can in this. Just unfortunate, good thing, if follow-up from the striker was not quick enough to say, in case the defender doesn't block it, let me be there to make sure good shy tap in.
Mina,
Yeah.
Elling impressive. Every opportunity that Matros got for Chippa United this season, he has been impressive. Left-footed, educated. He plays well in tight spaces. And that's what I love about a creative player that can dominate small spaces. We always speak about players playing in the pockets. If you look at it, if you pause it here, if you pause it there, now you are thinking it's 3 versus 1 in this instance. But here we talk about explosive speed, and look at how he leaves Seydad behind Matros. As you roll it forward, look at that explosive speed and the skill that he's speaking about. Explosive speed, he gets to the ball quicker, he creates an angle for himself, unleashes an unstoppable shot. Buthelezi parries the ball back into play. But awareness from his teammates to then follow up, the likes of Ivanga, Sikutlong, follow up, because there's a great shot, there's a second opportunity that is given. But Matros is one of those that I'm saying, Coach, get Lenkis, please, man. Matros, more game time, we can get something there, Coach.
Yeah, like 12 minutes to coach Matras. But anyway, we say congratulations to Kate Lenkis for giving us beautiful years of football. You know, we've seen him from his early ages up to where he's retiring and has become a coach. We wish him all the best in becoming those brilliant young South African coaches that are able to take our football to the next level. I'm glad Ugutu coach uthathe ama-soccer boots wokudlala and he hung them. Because the biggest mistake coaches make is that they want to coach and play at the same time. Then they compete with their players.
Man. They are 12 minutes.
No, they right for you. Ukuthi angene nje bekuyi-warm up yakhe. Bekumele warm up nje 12 minutes and realize ukuthi now it's time to fully focus on making players become better, unearth talent, make them play good football, and hopefully take Chippa to the next level. Because Chippa, the last time they were in a better position, 2018, 2019, they were 12th. 2019, 2020, they were 11th. Hey, last season, manje 14, 15, and ukhumbula ukuthi last season they survived number 15 because Royal AM did not go to the playoffs. Otherwise, nabo ngabe sikhuluma okunye okuhlukile. So Kate Lenkis, Chippa keeps you. Please do make sure that you continue the hard work that you've been showing us into the next season, because it's going to be important for you to make sure these moments do not happen, especially in the beginning of the season. Because Chippa looks like they have enough numbers in the box. Look at them. I'm counting 5 shirts.
Now,
Chippa
you're counting
in the
5
box
shirts.
behind.
It was an offensive set play
Yes.
for TS Galaxy. The man on the ball, that is the centre back, Musimang. He's the man that is also going to go and score the goal. And when you roll it forward, you're going to see Musimang makes a pass back, and he does not stop. Now, who is tracking Musimang? That's one of the jobs that Kate Lenkis has to do. You need to follow your man until the move is dead. It goes wide to Hlongwane, he uses his skill, and then when he brings that ball back, he does not bring a perfect ball. It drops into the penalty area. There's the shot. Now, that is Musimang again. We started this action on a freeze because it was Musimang in position of the ball. And that's what he does, and that's what the goal meant. Look at the coach running to go and celebrate with these players. They knew that they only had one thing to do, TS Galaxy, get maximum points, and you don't have to worry about the other results. Musimang, he's one of the captains in this team. He was not wearing the captain's armbelt in this game. He goes on to get maximum points for TS Galaxy and make sure that they are safe, they can prepare for next season in the PSL.
Yeah, talking about next season, Tina sisese season, nathi mele sirephe manje ndoda, because nathi season yethu la.
Was that a young coach, Kate Lenkis, what, South African?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bengisasho ngithi he's one of the young upcoming coaches like us, and it's important for coaches to make sure when you sit on that chair and you become a coach, you have a responsibility to get the best out of the players, not compete with them. Get the best out of the players on and off the field, get the best out of the club. Make sure you've got a vision that says young players need to come in. How do I help them? Older players that are in the team, how do I manage them? How do I create a team cohesion? How do I put myself out of the picture and make sure priority are the players in there? Because as South Africans, we really have talented players. And in talking about talented players, we've come to the end of the season. Kunama awards azayo, where we are awarding talented players in different...
Coach,
yeah.
So South African coaches, right? I just want to say the most successful coach in the PSL is Pitso Mosimane. He's South African. Second to Pitso Mosimane is Gavin Hunt. That is the most successful coach in the PSL. He's South African. The last time a South African team lifted the CAF Champions League, it was a South African coach, Pitso Mosimane, that was there. When Kaizer Chiefs were in the final, it was Gavin Hunt and Arthur Zwane that took them all the way to the final. They're both South Africans. Now you're talking about Mandla Ncikazi and Fadlu Davids. They are young South African coaches that had taken Orlando Pirates to a final of a CAF. Who's winning the league? Who won the league this season? It's South African coaches, Rulani and Mangoba. Who won the MTN 8? It's Rulani and Mangoba, South African. Who's in the final of the Nedbank Cup? Dance Malisela, South African. The Sundowns coaches, South Africans. Siyakhona ukuzenzela man. Singasibhekeli phansi South Africans.
He said a mouthful. And it's important for us to celebrate our own, because if we celebrate and support our own, we are able to get quality products and quality end products. Tina sesifike ekugcineni kwe-show yethu, we hope that we've delivered nothing but quality as we still celebrate Africa Month.
Mamela,
Yeah.
coach, just before you go, football of the season?
Football of the season yimi ngiyadlala. Hey, ngiyokhathela kanjani amaqoqo.
Football of the season.
Football of the season for me, I would still go for Andile Jali. He's shown us that he's maturing like fine wine. He's done so well. Made sure that Mamelodi Sundowns has been very solid, especially as a deep line playmaker. When they lost Uhlompo Kekana, happy birthday to him, by the way, today. He came into that position with Injariaga, Rivaldo Kutia as well. He came into that position. He's able to understand, motivate his team and say, "Look, it's
the first time I don't agree with you. The first time I don't agree with you.
Okay, who's your player?
Peter Shalulile.
Okay.
For me, to be able to score 23 goals in the league, 29 goals in all competition, Peter Shalulile is the man that defends from the front for Mamelodi Sundowns. He has done only player to score in all competitions that he has played in this season. He's the reigning footballer of the season, and his work ethic, the way he works for Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi Sundowns defend from the top because of Peter Shalulile. For me, my player of the season is Peter Shalulile.
Nazo-ke nama-candidate. Now lapho ekhaya mangabe nesikhathi sokuvota usho ukuthi who's your best player of the season. Abo-coach nabo-young players sezizozikhuluma kwamanye ama-show. Now uyazi sila ku-extra, ku-Soccerzone Xtra. I-Soccerzone ikhona. Ungaphuthelwa, ungakhohlwa. From me, kuyakwadlula intokazi ngithi siyabonga. Ndichiphe ngashawuri erichimbile riri, short left, short right. Ngicela ukhuluma isiZulu ngizwe.
Vasale zwavhuḓi hayani ndi nephumudzo manenzhe ndiri ro livhuwa uri vho ri joina kha Soccerzone Xtra zwa zwino ro fhedza mushumo washu arali vha sa tendelani na nne kana na coach ngori football of the season ndi nnyi kha vha kha social media at the ball 27 at the ball _27 phumudzo manenzhe uthi ngithini ngesizulu
Bengithi shapa fethu